I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and
Jake Paul's world collapsed after a lifetime sentence. Well, who could have predicted that the guy who built a career on YouTube pranks would end up with a real lifetime sentence in the boxing world? But hey, Jake, you thought you could just stroll into Showtime Boxing and call yourself a champ? Nice try.
And Jake Paul's very smart, man. Like, he gets guys that he's bigger than. The only time he fought another boxer his size was Tom Fury, and he lost.
Boxing's not like one of those gotcha pranks. There's no edit button to save you. And if you mistake it for one, you must face the music with a lifetime sentence.
And Jake Paul's very smart, man. Like, he gets guys that he's bigger than. The only time he fought another boxer his size was Tom Fury, and he lost.
Jake Paul, the self-proclaimed king of YouTube and boxing's loudest wannabe, has hit rock bottom. And honestly, it's been a long time coming. And let's not sugarcoat it. This guy built his empire on controversy, trash talk, and a knack for getting under people's skin. And for a while it worked.
Tyson is averaging more punches than he did in that fight with McBride and in the exhibition against Roy Jones, where he averaged 24 punches around.
Like I said, I don't like the better keep messing with that mouthpiece.
Oh!
He swaggered into the boxing world, throwing punches and cash, convincing everyone that he was the real deal. But now, Jake's world is crumbling faster than his excuses, and it's kind of satisfying to watch. When Jake first stepped into the ring, he wasn't just selling fights, he was selling a fantasy. "I'm the future of boxing," he'd yell, chest puffed out like he'd just KO'd Muhammad Ali in his dreams. However, the reality was far less impressive.
Jake fought a guy who was his age and was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
Take his fight with Tyron Woodley. Sure, it ended in a TKO, but did anyone believe it? Woodley, a seasoned MMA fighter, went down in a way that screamed Hollywood script more than boxing ring. But let's talk about the fight-fixing scandal, because this is where the whole Jake Paul serious athlete show went up in flames. This guy dared to set up a fight with Mike Tyson and allegedly tried to rig it. Mike Tyson, the man who could probably knock someone out with a glance. According to leaked documents and insider whispers, Jake and his team were cooking up some shady deals to tilt the odds in his favor. Because why rely on skill when you can just cheat, right?
This right here, Skip, Jake Paul has everything to win if he was to defeat Mike Tyson.
Fans weren't just disappointed, they were furious. This wasn't just another Jake Paul stunt. This was a direct slap in the face to boxing, a sport built on blood, sweat, and respect. And Jake? He treated it like his personal TikTok challenge.
And everybody was saying, oh, nice shot by Jake Paul.
Right hand by Paul, that is his most effective.
The much-hyped showdown between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson on November 15th, 2024 was supposed to be the year's event. Instead, it turned into a masterclass in controversy and disappointment. 65 million people worldwide tuned into Netflix for this spectacle at the AT&T Stadium in Texas. 65 million. And what did they get? A fight that felt less like a clash of titans and more like a poorly scripted reality TV episode.
Mike Tyson's just been beat off Jake Paul. But how? Mike Tyson's an absolute legend and one of the greatest fighters of all time. How can this YouTuber beat such a great...
The result? Jake Paul won via unanimous decision. Yes, that's right. On paper, Jake dominated the match, but watching it was a different story. The whole thing felt off. Like watching a bad actor in a role he's completely unfit for but somehow thinks he's nailing. Jake didn't just outbox Tyson, he practically carried him through the fight, barely throwing anything that resembled an aggressive punch.
His superior mobility. Yes, he's going to be more mobile. Yes, he's younger and he can move his feet around. So again, from round one, nothing surprised me so far. Connects with a quick 1-2 combination. Timing appears slightly off. His punches a fraction slower than in his prime. Of course they are. So round one was pretty accurate.
And speaking of scripts, the pre-fight drama was straight out of a soap opera. This whole Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight was practically a script. I mean, you had an aging Tyson who'd been through more health issues and his fight with Jake Paul. The whole fight had more pre-planned drama than a reality TV show. From the elder abuse accusations to the fact that Paul seemed more like a lifeguard making sure Tyson didn't drown in the ring than an actual fighter.
And everybody was saying, oh, nice shot by Jake Paul.
Right hand by Paul, that is his most...
Watching a 27-year-old Jake Paul shuffle around the ring with a man 3 decades his senior felt wrong on so many levels. Tyson, while still intimidating in presence, wasn't the Iron Mike of old. The man was coming off a delayed fight date because of a stomach ulcer flare-up. And let's not gloss over the expectations versus reality situation here. This bout was marketed as the fight of the year, a clash between two titans from entirely different worlds. What fans got was a glorified sparring session.
Jake Paul, 12 of 53, 23%. Tyson coming out aggressively. Tyson.
Jake danced around, Tyson threw a few punches that barely grazed their target, and the whole thing wrapped up with Jake's hand raised in victory. Fans were understandably furious. Social media exploded with criticism, with many saying they felt duped into watching what was essentially a publicity stunt masquerading as a professional fight.
I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and Showtime would have made sure they kept paying him.
Right.
The backlash wasn't just about the fight itself, it was about what it represented. Jake Paul has always been a polarizing figure, but this took it to another level. For traditional boxing fans, this was yet another slap in the face. A blatant reminder that the sport they love is being turned into a joke by celebrity influencers chasing dollar signs.
You can't fight like 2 days in a row.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
And Jake? He seemed entirely unbothered by the criticism, basking in his win and the alleged $40 million payday that came with it.
Well, X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X.
But here's where it gets really messy. After the fight, whispers of rigging and scripting began to surface. Leaked documents and insider accounts suggested the whole thing might have been pre-planned, down to the scores themselves.
Shows with his superior mobility. Yes, he's going to be more mobile. Yes, he's younger and he can move his...
Suddenly, Jake's unimpressive performance made a lot more sense. If the fight really was fixed, it explains why he was pulling his punches and why Tyson, despite being a shadow of his former self, never seemed to be in any real danger. Fans who had already felt let down by the lackluster fight now had a new reason to be furious.
Netflix is being issued a class action in relation to the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight.
So where does this leave Jake Paul? Facing the music, finally. Legal challenges, accusations of fraud, and a growing wave of public disdain have started to chip away at his invincible persona. This fight, which was supposed to solidify his status as a serious contender, has instead turned into a PR disaster. The once unshakable influencer now finds himself at the center of a scandal that might just be too big to bounce back from.
He wasn't even good at the end. And now he's 58 and he's been living the kind of life he's been living. How's he gonna have a chance? I'm putting everything on Paul. I'm laying 180. I think it was 180 he was getting. It was I think it went up to minus 220, whatever, but it was minus 180.
Where to even begin? Jake Paul's arrest wasn't just a legal procedure. It was pure, unfiltered theater. The once cocky YouTuber turned boxer found himself surrounded by officers, and for once, his mouth wasn't running a mile a minute. This wasn't just a shock to the fans, it was a headline writer's dream come true. The charges? Breach of contract and potential fraud. That's right. The guy who spent months hyping up his fight with Mike Tyson couldn't even keep his legal ducks in a row. But it wasn't just the charges that had people talking. It was Jake's reaction. Panic doesn't even begin to describe it.
You can't fight like 2 days in a row.
Wasn't the Tyson-Jake fight, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's amazing they got paid so much money for that.
One moment he was bragging about his $40 million payday, and the next, he looked like a deer in headlights. Gone was the over-the-top confidence, replaced by a meltdown so public it made even his harshest critics cringe.
Tyson's 58 years old. You know what I mean? Jake fought a guy who was his age and was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
If you thought Jake Paul was good at playing tough, this moment revealed the reality behind the act. All those Instagram posts, flashy cars, and trash talk couldn't mask the fact that, when the pressure hit, Jake folded faster than a cheap lawn chair. The arrest wasn't just a legal issue, it was a full-blown character expose. Fans who had once cheered him on were left wondering, was any of it real?
Hello?
If Jake Paul thought getting cuffed was the low point, he was sorely mistaken. The fallout from the allegations of fight tampering is nothing short of catastrophic.
And quite frankly, me too, because I don't want to hear any of you dumb fucks anymore. Today, I'm reading your troll comments and eating them as...
First up is the looming threat of a lifetime ban from boxing. That's right, Jake, the self-proclaimed savior of modern boxing, could be permanently booted from the sport he's been trying to legitimize himself in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. I'll be super, super down.
But wait, there's more. On top of the ban, Jake is staring down the barrel of lawsuits and regulatory actions, the kind of legal troubles that make you wish you'd just stuck to making prank videos on YouTube. It's one thing to face public backlash. It's another to potentially end up in courtrooms for years, battling accusations that could land you behind bars. Sports history is filled with tales of dramatic downfalls, but Jake Paul's is unique in its absurdity. Unlike athletes who fell from grace due to personal demons or tragic circumstances, Jake's downfall is a product of his own making, a combination of arrogance, poor judgment, and an insatiable thirst for fame and fortune.
Goes low and gets in, and he did that and had a clear opening on Jake, and Jake went like this, and Mike just didn't hit him, and that's the video.
At this point, Jake Paul isn't just a boxer in trouble, he's a cautionary tale, a reminder that you can only fake it for so long before reality comes knocking. And when it does, no amount of followers, clickbait headlines, or overpriced merch can save you. So there you have it, the rise, the fall, and the crash landing of Jake Paul. From internet king to boxing clown, all in a few short months. His empire crumbled under bad decisions, poor choices, and a lack of self-awareness. But hey, what do we expect when someone treats boxing like it's just another episode of The Real Housewives? But seriously, what does this all mean for sports and entertainment? Well, maybe it's time to rethink who we elevate to champion status. As for Jake's future, who knows? Maybe a redemption arc is on the horizon, but I wouldn't bet on it.